Rick Smith, who was the coach to Jack Nicklaus and Phil Mickelson, swore by this drill. It's the Y drill, and we're really focusing on how the body and the club moves below hip height in the striking zone. Keeping the Y is very, very important. Now, obviously, all the swing up here is equally as important, but for me, this is overlooked, and that's why we're focusing it on today's video. Now, I've got a host of questions here on the channel, all about strike, all about impact, all about straightening up ball flight, and that's exactly why I'm answering it here today in this video. So the best way to prepare for the golf season is right now. Now, all these videos are inspired by you, all your questions, so be sure to pop yours down below, subscribe, and turn on the bell, because you never know when I'm going to answer your question. Right, here we go, the Y swing and the drill coming your way. Now, I've got 3 stages for you to work through here at this Y drill, and I've got some checkpoints for you to note so you know exactly you're doing this drill correctly. So what is the Y? Let's just start off with that. Now, I'm going to place the end of the club in my belly button, okay? I'm going to grab where my arms feel not locked out, but slightly extended. And the Y is the shaft and then up to my elbows on both arms. So you can see there, I'm creating a Y shape. Now, what I see a lot of golfers go wrong with is either in the takeaway arms bending down, but more so into impact. We're either throwing the club out, breaking down the Y, chicken winging on the way through, again, breaking down the Y. So we've got to keep the Y, and that's literally as simple as this can be. Okay, keep the Y. So first rule, number 1 checkpoint, keep the Y. The second rule I want you to think about is keep the chest over the golf ball throughout. And as you're moving through, as our third point, keep the butt of the club in the belly button. Now, for you to actually get all those points, you'll realise, right, arms can't work independent, body can't go too quick, arms can't bend. You have to work that club back into impact, through, back into impact, through. You can really see how I'm keeping control of that golf club throughout. Now, one little trick that he said with this, and this is all stage 1 here, we're going to move fast into stage 2 shortly, is if you're a bit of a slicer, on the way through, feel a little bit of closing of that face. If you're a little bit of a hooker, feel a little bit of that face opening. Because if you've got the body and the arms working more in sync, you can feel those shots a little more. This is a lost art in golf. You can feel the shot. You can feel your way out of it. So, for example, right, if you looked at this in player cam, this is what I'd feel if I was a slicer. I'd come through and slightly close that face. This is what I'd feel if I was a hooker. I'd slightly keep that face a little more open. But I'm still hitting every one of those checkpoints. Keep the Y, keep the chest in the middle, and keep the butt of the club in the belly button. This is the perfect way for you to start training your game on that vital point underneath hip height. So let's get hitting it, and this is what I want you to do when you're going to go and practice this Y zone. Now, all I want you to feel is we're going to make hip height swing back, through, and we should be able to recoil this in. Now remember, if you are a slicer, you're going to feel that little bit more on the club face working over, and a hooker, you're going to feel that face stay a little bit more open. So literally just like this, we're going back and through. Can I recoil it? I sure can. That strike was as crisp as it gets. Now don't feel like you're wasting shots there, you're not. What you're doing is you're working on that Y, and the rest of this will fall into place, I promise you. So here we go, back, through, recoil it back. Now every time you strike a good one, if you get that confidence to, and I'd say it's the word of caution, don't rush into this, but as soon as you feel confident enough, let's make a little bit of a longer swing, so somewhere around here, and then come back and recoil it in. We want to really be concentrating on keeping those points like this, keeping them feeling as though we've got a synchronization between the arms and the body through the hitting zone, and that's really important. Now I've got one more part to this, which is really quick, which I think you'll love. I'm really loving this drill, like really loving it. It's working an absolute dream for my strike, and I know it'll work for you. So this final stage is just grab a T-peg, right, and place it just literally a foot in front. nothing specific at all. The feeling I want you to feel here is that we're going to be able to hit a shot where, as our club head passes over that tee peg, we've got maximum extension. Now, what I mean by that is we've got this Y working great. It's not broken down, we've got this Y working great. So I just place that tee peg down here in front of me, and all you're going to do is really feel through that hitting zone. And I'll be honest, that's what I took to the course. Keep the Y as long and as low as possible. Just like that. And really feeling those punch shots time after time will train that zone. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. This is your home of free simple golf tips.